Hi. So I wanted to jump on here and talk about what I call LOOTA, or that's the abbreviation. It's actually what I mean by leaving out of the action. So leaving out of the action is one of the ways that the Toddler Code works with what do we do if we don't punish and we're not permissive? So how do we get the behavior we need for, as I always like to say, team family to flourish? Because you guys are on the same team. And that is how nature created it to work, is to be on the same team. And if we're not on the same team with our child, if we're in conflict or we're in an adversarial position, then generally speaking, things are going to get worse, not better, as far as getting the behavior we need, getting our child to listen, getting our child to be helpful. And as I always like to talk about in the Toddler Code, is the beauty of the system that I work with is that it's a natural system. So it works with I don't know, one way to say it is our DNA. Another way to say it might be like our God-given things we inherited to be human. Another way to say it is what it means to be human. So where I'm going with all this is that what is good for you is good for your toddler too. So if I ever, you'll hear me repeat this over and over, if I ever am telling you to do something to make your life, the adult, easier, it's never at the sacrifice of your child. It's always with an understanding that what's good for you is good for the baby too. And that's how nature intended it, that we work together smoothly. Okay, so let's get back onto the topic here, which is what I call leaving out of the action. And so how does leaving out of the action work? Well, like I keep telling you all, and really maybe next week, or even sooner this week, I'd like to deal with an actual specific question, but just making something up. Right now, you want your child to pick up their toys. And so you say, pick up your toys, sweetie. And I'd like you to do that in a way, and that's a topic for another video. I don't think I've done it yet, but don't ask, tell. So, not in the form of a question, but in a way that you expect your child to want to do what you want them to do. You say, oh, sweetie, time to pick up your toys. And then they say, no, mama, no, I don't want to. No, I'm not going to. Or maybe they even throw something, or God only knows, maybe they even hit you or bite you or something like that. So what we're going to do right there in that situation, every situation is different. So there's layers of this. So this is not my only answer, because I know a lot of you might be thinking, well, this won't work. But I guarantee you haven't tried doing what I'm saying with all the little, tips and tricks that I'm giving. So this is like a kind of a minor situation. Pick up your toys, sweetie, and they refuse to pick up their toys. In this particular situation, not knowing any more about the specifics, I would advise you to pick up the toys yourself and leave them out of the action. Preferably there's another child around or another adult. Maybe if you're the mama, maybe there's a daddy there. Or maybe there's another mama there, and you say, hey, let's you and me pick up the toys. So this is the vibration. The vibration that you're having, because I always like to talk about vibe, the vibration that you're having is one of, oh, poor thing, they don't get it. They're not understanding how good it feels to help the family out. So you switch it from one of like forcing them and getting adversarial with them, getting at odds and getting in conflict, and you turn it into like, oh my God, this is a fun, cool thing that we do. And the bigger you get, the more you're going to want to do it. But right now you're too little and you're not understanding, and you're getting confused that this is a hard or a rough thing. So I'm about to help you out here. So you pick up the toys and get it off the child, get it onto the adult, or whatever you're doing, just get it off the focus of the kid, and you put it onto a new, fun, interesting. And I'm not telling you to totally fake it. Maybe picking up toys isn't what we would, consider the most fun thing to do in the world. But in fact, it feels good to be of help, and it is what the toddler is naturally looking to be of help to its tribe, family, other adults. As they grow older, life is really about a series of leaps and jumps of learning to be included. Children naturally want to be included. They naturally want to do the big people things. So lots of times we just confuse them by doing the opposite and trying to force them to do something makes it look like what? Makes it look like we don't want to do it, or it's not that fun because we have to force them and get into conflict with them. So here's a quick little video for y'all on what it means to leave out of the action, and gives you like a hint, a starting hint of where we might go to create success in your family, to get your toddler transforming into a thriving, helpful, happy, content little kid, get your life more relaxed. And so like I said, if you're dealing with, extreme upset and problems, there are layers of this leave out of the action that we will go into that don't damage self-esteem, that aren't traditional punishment, but that also aren't permissive or giving in. But this is just a simple little example of a starter, I guess you could say, a place to start with leaving out of the action. And the concept here, once again, is that your attitude is like, they just don't get it. They don't get what it's like to live a happy, helpful life, how good it feels on the inside, and that as the parent that they want this information. You expect that they want this information, and that in fact it's for their benefit. It's so they're happy, even though it's going to help us out as the adults. It's also even more crucially going to lock into what I call the Toddler Code, which is at root, what is the Toddler Code? It's the understanding that children want to do the right thing, quote unquote, the right thing. In every family, the right thing is going to be slightly different. So I'd rather use the word correct, or, maybe social. It's like they want to be included. They want to do what we're doing, actually. And that we, the adults or the parents or the educators or the preschool teachers, are doing the opposite by getting into a conflict with them. We're actually giving them the opinion that we don't think it's a good thing, or we don't think it's fun, or, we have to force you to do it. We have to even sometimes scream or punish you if you don't do it. But no, we want them to jump in. We want them to want to do what we want to do. So I'm here to help you get your kids listening and talk in a way that they are going to understand. And I'm always saying, hint, it's not more words. It's a lot about vibration. So that's it for this week's live. I'm sorry I missed last week, and we'll go from there. Many blessings.